Alright guys, before we begin the video, some of you said that this did not work and some of you believed me, some of you didn't believe me. It worked and I'm about to show you right now. And I just want to tell you another thing. I know people are saying the FOV is very small, but it's actually very flyable. It's not bad at all, you know? It's really not bad. Like I would not have a problem flying with this. If I wanted to, I would go fly with it. Actually, it's very sweet. I've been flying it around with the micros in the house. It's pretty good. However, you know, just like I said before, I couldn't see the font, I mean the OSD. However, this time with this font on this OSD, I can see it totally clear. So all the F4 processors, you're going to be seeing the font just fine, depending on the font. So I was able to read it absolutely perfect right now. So there was no problem at all. However, what I've noticed is you will get a much better picture if you actually reduce the foam here a little bit. Because right now, when I have this on, and without that, when I put this on my face, the screen's actually a lot larger. And it's very clear. It's very good actually, guys. You know, don't let people just let you down. It's decent. I have a HD3 and a D2, and I would, to be honest, I'd rather fly this than the D2. That's maybe my personal preference. And again, this is a personal preference. You know, some people might hate this. They might say this is bullshit, and it is true. Some people might hate it. Some people might love it. I currently like it. I don't have a problem with it, and it's not just because I got it for free. If it's a piece of shit, I tell you, it's a piece of shit. I wouldn't even bother doing this crap with it. You know how long this took me to do? I don't care. It does. I don't get any benefit from this right now. So I got it for free. I didn't even request it. So don't think just because I got it for free that I'm gonna be nice. I don't care. It was a gift bait. That's how I took it, as a gift, and then I just made a video about the gift. Whether I liked it or I didn't like it, I really didn't care because I didn't ask for it, and I have plenty of stuff, so I don't care if they don't send me any more free stuff. So I don't care really. So yeah. Anyways, now this thing just became super awesome. Let me show you how it works, and I've got it to work absolutely beautiful. Sorry about my voice. And there we go. So 3 wires. We're not going to do anything to the receiver. We're not going to desolder the receiver. There's no need to. It actually turns off, and this takes control, which is pretty sweet. So let me prepare everything and let me show you. All right, so first step is we just plug in the battery, obviously. And we just double check everything is booting. So that booted because it made a noise. The external module is booting. Perfect. Okay, there's no signal because the quad's not plugged in. So let's just take a look inside. And there we go. I got it to focus earlier. I don't know how, but in the end of the video, you guys will see that. Anyways, it gives you the band. That's the band there, and then that corner, that's the battery voltage right there. So that's sweet. So let's just plug it in, and I almost dropped the goggles. All right. So here, what do we have? We have footage, and this footage is from our receiver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start changing channels to the point where we don't get any signal. It's going to be difficult because it's just right next to the quad here. Oh, there we go. We had a nice one with no signal. All right, so as you can see, we have no signal now. Okay, this is the internal receiver, but if I move my finger around, it kind of does get signal. So there's no signal right now, and we're on the internal receiver, and just double checking. You have battery there, and you have the band right there. Let's check the module here. We have full signal here, and still no signal here. So what we want to do is this button right there. You're just going to hold it until the 3rd buzzer. This one, you want to hold it down. And let go. And now we have beautiful picture. So that says AV in now, and there is no band because now you're just getting it straight from this guy. And if I actually, here, let me show you and prove it to you guys. So I'm putting my finger on the camera, and yeah, so let's get started. So this is part 2, and it's not going to be the final part where I even design the 3D printed case, just so I can get this out as quick as possible. So this is going to be exactly how to wire it up and to get it working absolutely beautiful. So the way it'll actually work is we are not going to connect anything here, and we're not going to desolder this even. So there is a function in here that if you hold this and wait for the 3rd buzzer, it'll switch to the AV input. But I think the AV input was kind of dark when I tested it, so I figured out the cleanest area to actually solder your signal to, your video signal too that just gives you a perfect picture. I mean, as perfect as it gets, as perfect as it does originally from its receiver. So I think that's very sweet. And what's so awesome about it is when you do that, it actually automatically powers off the internal receiver. So that's sweet. However, there was one problem that really took time for me. Um, there's not enough current to turn this guy on from the circuit here. Now from here it does, because it has some kind of, amplifier and op amp in here, which amplifies the amperage to actually boot this guy and boot that guy like we did in our test. Now if we power him up from here, once we switch here, once we hold this for 3 seconds, it actually switches the power off to this guy, thus turning the external module off itself. Now this is the voltage regulator in a kind of way. The second pin up here, as you can see, I've already kind of tried to solder on it. This cannot handle the amps that this guy is going to need, but it actually just won't boot. The whole thing won't boot. Good thing I didn't burn it. So that didn't work. I tried the fans. The fans also could not work. They don't have enough amps to power this guy on. So when you test them, they're 5 volt. But once you add this guy on, it starts sucking up that current. It drops to 1.5 volts. So this was out of the case. Forget about these right now. I'll just ignore them. These are for my testing purposes here. What we will need some kind of voltage regulator. I do recommend these. They're very cheap. They come in a bunch, called a buck step down converter or some kind of 5 volt converter. Make sure it's 5 volt or you'll burn your external module there. Now, what we need to do is very simple. To solder this guy, we just need to take ground and power from here. And this is a very easy place to solder. So this will not make any problems for anyone. So it should be pretty simple. However, if you boot it off of USB, I don't think it'll power on the external module. However, we will test that later on and make another route for the external module as well. All right, so let's see what I came up with here. So let me just turn on my soldering station here, and let's just remove these. So if you don't know how to remove these, you don't pull those. You just grab this top part here and just lift it ever so slightly, and it'll just lift up. You see that? Very, very slightly. Just keep going very lightly until it lifts up, and just move them away. There should not be any force in any kind of sort of way to remove these, or you'll ruin them. And remember, you will void your warranty, I believe, as soon as you open it. So don't do this at your own risk, really. All right, so we're gonna remove this board, and we are going to flip it. So here, this is the audio processor right there. This is what processes the audio, blah 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 there. So that's good on that part. And here is where we have the chip that has both the receiver signal going to, and it has the AV input that's going to. It's this chip right there. However, I couldn't find anything on the data sheet, but there was no need, because the way I found is a lot cleaner and a lot easier for most. So this pin right here is for the receiver, if I remember correctly, and this is for the AV input. So the cleanest video signal that I have gotten to actually route the external module from to is right there, which is this pin right here. However, what's so awesome, you don't have to remove anything. These already have solder on them, but they have nothing connected. So these, I believe these are ground here. This is ground, and this is ground. And these are some kind of, I think they're bridged, but here was the best signal that I have gotten, the cleanest and clearest. So you're gonna have to solder it to this right there, and take note, this is the power. This is the input power right here, and it's the first little tiny pad right there where it says C44, I think, or 444. So that's where you're gonna have to solder, and I'm gonna have to redo this because this is very unsafe here, and I do recommend you use some kind of silicone wires really for this kind of thing. So this is where we would solder our video input right there. And now what we need to do is we need to start with our voltage regulator, and we're just gonna set this guy back up here. We need to concentrate on these guys right there. And what we need to do is, you could do it 2 ways. So one way would be to get your multimeter in continuity, but I'll do it for you right now so you don't even have to bother with this later. So Let's just see. Function. Okay. So these two are ground, and this should be positive. And now we'll just double check it. So I'm going to put it on voltage. So the innermost pin should be positive, and the outermost, or one of the other twos, should be negative. And yes, it's correct. So that's perfect. Yep. So this is positive. The inside one right here, this is positive, and these are ground. And make sure they're both ground, because one could be ground and the other one could be not. I don't know the quality check of these, so just put continuity. If they're both of them beep, then you're good to go. You could solder on any of them. But if none of them beep, I mean if they don't beep, then just touch this one and go to that ground up here in the corner. Right there, there's a ground, and just touch and see which one will beep with you. As you can see, both of them are beeping, so I'm totally fine. So both of them are ground. So that's very good. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply power to a voltage regulator and then set it to 5 volts. And as you can see, it has some kind of potentiometer right there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply power and then set up our multimeter and just check the power until we hit 5 volts, and then just add a little heat shrink on it, and then we're gonna run it out to the external module. So let's actually get that started with now. Alright guys, so first let's just pretend we soldered this guy on, and as you can see there's in ground and in positive. That's where that has to be soldered to the ground and positive of this guy. So right here we're just pretending I did, I'm just emulating it, just because I need to double check, because I have one that was burned and I need to know if this was it or not. So I'm giving it right now 7.5 volts from my power bench. And I'm going to get my multimeter here. And then hold this guy there. And as you can see, it's giving us 7.3 volts. And that's no good because we would burn it right away. So I need to get myself a screwdriver here. Alright, I managed to center back everything. So we are getting... This is the wrong screwdriver, and that's why I'm having issues doing this. Alright, so we're getting 7.3 volts here. We need it 5 volt. Preferably just go to 4.8 volts. Alright, so now I'm turning it, and as you can see, we dropped to less than a volt. So we're just going to ever so easy and just wait a little bit. So that's 2 volts. 4. I'm going to set it to 4.8. Actually, no, 4. 4.7 should be good, because the internal module was giving 4.7. And don't forget, you have to put in perspective when voltage drops and decreases from the battery. So this is very sensitive, just you have to barely move it. Okay, so here's 4.7. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with my power bench. I'm actually going to increase the power. So right now it's on 7.5 volts. So let's just say it's 4.2, 4.2. That's what, 8.2 volts, a full 2 cell. That's perfect. I just hit 9 volts here, and it's still on 4.7. And we're going to drop down. You're not going to be dropping it down to 6.5 anyways, because you'll just kill it. So right now I'm on 6.4 volts supposedly from the battery, and it's still giving us exactly 4.71 volts, which is perfect. That's just perfect. Yeah, we're done here. So this is set. Now let's just remove this guy and remove this guy. So this guy is now ready, and we are going to get some small tiny silicone wires, preferably. I'm sure you should always keep your silicone wires that you cut from any kinds of what is it called, from your ESCs and all that kind of crazy stuff, receivers. I usually keep everything, even if it's a tiny wire. It just comes in handy, like this example, this moment right now. So let's just, here we go. All right, and here we have ourselves a nice little silicone wire. There we go. So we're just going to add solder to this guy here. There we go. Okay, so we just added solder. It's pretty simple. So we need, this was out, so we need the in. All right. Perfect. All right, and where's in? In positive is this one here, so it's this one right here. So we're just gonna grab this guy, and we will just solder him. Very nice and easy. Okay, now we have one wire in. So we need another one. I'm thinking of using the same color. You know, here I found another one. Just because of for you guys, you know, I don't want you guys to mistake and then actually burn out your goggles because I didn't use a black wire. So let's just do that now. There we go. So here's a black wire. All right. So this should be done. And these would be soldered here. So the black wire would be soldered to one of these two, depending on yours, which one beeped. If both of them beeped, then any of these two. And the red wire will be soldered to this guy right there. So it would be sitting like so. And we do have enough room to stick it even down here, which is pretty sweet. But remember, you need to make your wires a little bit longer and to add heat shrink on this guy, or else you'll have a very bad day. So yeah, just take note of that. So right now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to solder some wires for the module. However, you know, depending on what module you have, and this is going to be very different for everyone, but hopefully, you know, you can figure it out on your own there. You can either de-pin these or not, or maybe cut them and then solder your wire onto them and then make your holder. But I'm actually going to do is, well, I don't know just yet. Maybe I might solder the wires up here into this and keep these, so when we 3D print something we can just stack it in there and not really care about any of these because it'll just be plastic. So when we just stick it in, this will just act as kind of a mount for us, really. And I think that's really a good way, but depending on your receiver that you're going to be using, it's going to be different. So I have right here, I have 3, and the True D is on the Fat Shark, and I don't want to remove it. So what I could see happening is here, if you try to solder them in here, you might burn this, so you have to be very careful. But I think, you know, yeah, I think that's what we'll do now. We will solder, then this will be, no, then this way you can't actually detach them, so we're gonna have to make custom PCB here. So we're gonna need something like this here, unless you don't care, and then yeah, so actually we're gonna need some kind of custom PCB here. So we will need this as well now. Alright, you know guys, just so we can actually get this video out quicker, I'm just going to actually just install it and solder it on directly. And then I'll just make a third part where we will do the, have it just be modular basically. I'll think of a very nice way to set this up and 3D design the part we need, and then you can just start sticking modules on and off. So you can start testing them or just having fun with them. So I believe as of right now everyone just has basically one module, 2 at max maybe. So let's just actually start with soldering in this guy right here, because yeah, or should we actually wait? Let's wait a little bit because we need the heat shrink. So let's just add 2 wires here. I actually need to desolder these guys from my goggles. So these were ground. Okay. And okay. I'm not gonna add back my fan. I'll do that later because I'm not in need of it just yet. And once I do, I'll just put it back. So don't unsolder your fan, like I did. So and again, just double check this here. See, in minus that's correct, and in positive that's correct, which will go here, and then this will go out to your module. So let's just get one of these guys here. So here's a nice little wire. And where's out? So, and if you're using the same one as me, basically ground is like this. See, if we flip it over, see, in minus, in minus, and then out minus, in positive, out positive. So they are together, so that's good. So let's just set this guy up here. Okay. So this is going to be the right here will be the ground that'll go to the module. Okay, so that's perfect right there. And now we just need the positive part. And where did I place it? All right, and positive is going to be like this. It's going to be a bit difficult here because I have to do it on camera and hold it with my left hand. There we go. So that is perfect here. So now we're set. Now you can get your heat shrink and stick it on, and that's what I'm about to do right now. So let's get the heat shrink. And I'll leave a link to everything I'm using here in the description below. I get usually everything from Banggood, almost everything from Banggood I usually get. It's rarely that I don't. It's just like if I'm getting some AirBots or something. And if you could use my links down there, that would be awesome. You could support the channel. It would go a great long way. And yeah, so where is these scissors? Alright, so I got my heat shrink here. I'm actually just gonna shorten it down a bit. That's good. Alright. Maybe we should have done a little bit more, but that's totally fine. Get the hot air gun going. So this way I think is a lot better than desoldering. You do have barely any risk of doing this. So unless you kind of hit something by accident, but I really just try to go for the easiest way to be done for everyone, you know, and people who don't have much soldering skill. And just easier for just the everyday person, really. And if anyone else makes this mod and has a different way, I would be more than happy to see it and hear about it. You know, in this world, there's always someone better than you. So, yeah, so this is just pretty awesome, you know, and it's very good to see someone else who has a better idea. Alright, so right now what I'm doing is I'm stripping these wires. Since they're silicone and they're very tiny, I can't really use a stripper. Alright. So we're gonna add some solder on these guys. We're gonna bend them up a bit, move them away from each other. It's actually pretty sweet how it's working. It's way better than I expected, and I'm very happy with it. And I'm hopefully you guys would be happy as well with it. Whoever's gonna do it, and whoever does it, just keep me updated. I'll be more than happy to hear from you how it went. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to solder these guys. So right here and right there. So let's just zoom in here. Actually, yeah. Let's see if this light would help you guys a little bit more. Let's just see that. Oh, that's pretty nice, yeah. Alright, so I don't know if this is they're using lead or lead free. And we'll know right now. I have the temperature set to 375 degrees Celsius. Shit. Perfect. All right. make sure nothing is like going to be sticking anywhere, especially that positive wire. This one here. I just burned my finger. Awesome. Alright, that should be good, really. So we are going to test everything now. So yeah, okay. I have to zoom out, that's why. Alright. So now we have our video and we have our power. And that's it, they're all in the same area, really. So let's just install this guy back. And I just want to show you guys, just in case some of you don't know how to install these back. So make sure these little clip thingies are up here. And you'd be very gentle. Okay. And what we're going to do is just make sure you align it. And just push it a little bit, and then that's it. It won't go in anymore. And then just close this guy while you're adding some pressure on the thing when you're closing it there. And that should be good. And let's just do this one again, just in case, so you guys can see better. So just align it, and there you go. And you could take note of how much of that stuff is in there, just in case, so you don't be scared that you ruined it. Alright, so actually like this we could actually close it, but I don't have a Dremel with me now to make a hole for the wires. So maybe we can route them some other way. We really can't. So we're just going to apply pressure and force, but I don't really recommend that at all. Let's move this guy here. Have him, because then we'll cover that. So let's put this guy there, and maybe this guy with them. Alright, so this is just going to be a quick test. Hopefully I'll be able to grab it this time and show it to you guys on the camera. And yeah, so make sure this antenna's up here. Everything seems good. I didn't unplug anything. Make sure everything's plugged, especially there's that JST connector for your fan that turns it on and off. However, I don't really care about that right now because I unplugged my camera. There you go. And yeah, you would just make a little hole here for it. You know, you could even use an X-Acto knife and just keep twisting it until it makes the hole. So I'm just gonna leave it like this for right now. And usually you would keep this part inside also. So we're just gonna do a quick test now, release the video, and I'll be back later on where I perfect this even more for you guys. But as of the soldering and everything that's done, we are done here, and I will show you again where this yellow wire goes before I go now, so just in case if you guys forgot. So let's just go ahead and grab this module. Now what's cool about the Relay AC Pro Diversity module, I didn't even notice it before, it has everything labeled for you here. So you can see VCC, and then the third is ground, and that's video. So actually let me just hold to you like this. So there's ground, and there's VCC, and there's video. 1 2 3 4, yeah, that's video. Perfect. So let's just do this. 1 2 3 4, that's video. And then ground is this one, and VCC is this one. So this is going to be our first official test with the mod completed. So we're going to grab a battery here. We're either going to see smoke or it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So let's just actually plug this guy in. Now I think this quad's on A7. And then let's keep it unplugged so we can pick a channel that's not working on the internal receiver, and then pick the one that's working on the external receiver. So that's on, that is perfect. Awesome. Alright, so this is on A7, and I know this quad's on A7. And now, alright, this is going to be the tricky part. So let's see how we're going to do this. Maybe like this. Okay. All right. So as you can see right, oh, that's perfectly even focused. So what are we on here? We are on channel 2. Why is it so difficult to get that? Oh, there we go. Anyways, we are on channel 2, which is band H. Yeah, band H channel 2 here. Alright, so I know this is not on H2, so let me just plug the quad in. hell's wrong with it? Okay, so okay, we have some kind of, there we go. Oh, it's because my finger was on it. So right now, as you can see, we are on band H2, and I know for sure this is not on H2, it's on A7, and it's because it's so close. So as you can see there, we can see the band and we can see the battery. So hopefully that'll get to focus again. Oh my god, this is insane. There we go. Alright, anyways, you can see the battery up in that's where the battery usually is, and then that's the band right there. So we'll just set it to autofocus here. Perfect. Okay, so as you can see, this is right now we're in the internal receiver mode. So let's just take a look here, and this is on A7 right now, and we're getting full signal. So let's just, now what we need to do is this button here, we have to hold it until we hear the third buzzer. So let's just do that now. So as you can see, the signal is not the best. Maybe if I cover my finger or something, yeah, here, we'll make it more staticky. Anyways, so please focus again. Okay, there we go. So now I'm holding it. That's first beep, second beep, third beep. And as you can see, AV in, perfect, beautiful image, acro mode. And yeah, and let me just put my finger in front of it. See, there you go, it's AV mode now. So see, there's no channel numbers. Now if we go back, and now on, I'm holding that button, 2, 3. There we go. Now we're back on the internal receiver. Now what's so awesome about this is when I turn the receiver off here, hey, we'll do it again since we're getting a lot of static, so it's beautiful. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So, oh, that's awesome. You can see now. That is sweet. So you can see it says AV in. So that's perfect. So I'm going to put my hand in front of it. Alright, so everything is working. Perfect. Alright guys, so the mod is complete, or almost complete. We still need to design some kind of mount and holder for it, so that'll be upcoming soon. However, I do have some plans to do some other mods for other goggles, such as the cheap Eachine box goggles. Well, maybe we'll start with the D2s, and I'll try to get my hands on some of those $40 box goggles from Eachine. Those look pretty sweet, and we could do some diversity on them. I think it'd be pretty interesting. And also have this kind of crazy theory. It might be absolutely pointless, but it'd probably be pretty fun. Triversity and quadversity, maybe on some IOMways and Sky Zones. So that'd be pretty interesting. I'd probably put like a also like an Arduino in there with some code to just measure the RSSIs of each, and maybe just switch back and forth between the internal and the external module. So I think that'd be pretty sweet. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Let me know down in the comments, and yeah, and make sure you hit that notification sign so you can see what I'm up to and don't miss out on anything, because I might be doing a live stream of the D2 teardown, and maybe we can just finish it all up on the live stream all together. And yeah, and it'd be pretty interesting. So if you guys would like to see that, just subscribe, and if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know, and I will see you next time. See you guys, take care.